Can Makoko go from this to that? Makoko is infamous for being one of the most popular and infamous slum communities in Africa. The floating nature of this community makes it picturesque for all the wrong reasons. Makoko has once again been in the news in recent weeks after the Lagos state government asked certain residents to move out for proposed demolitions to commence. The demolition order coincides with sudden sandfilling in and around Makoko area near the Third Mainland Bridge. I visited Makoko to investigate what's going on beneath the surface, and what I learned shocked me to the core. If you are traveling over the Third Mainland Bridge, you would see sections of Makoko, but that's just the tip of the iceberg, figuratively speaking. There are residents living in and around giant power line in Makoko, and the Lagos state government recently asked them to move because it's a safety hazard. But the latest order is a bit suspicious because it coincided with when unexplained sandfilling between Makoko and Third Mainland Bridge began, leaving many to ask, what are they sandfilling for, what's going on, and what does the future hold for Makoko? Many on the internet have guessed that the Lagos state government is trying to turn Makoko into a sort of Eco-Atlantic through sandfilling. Lagos, Nigeria has been in a constant battle with the Atlantic Ocean for decades, and for most of my life I've been aware of sandfilling projects taking place across the constant sandfilling and land reclamation has become part of life in Lagos. It's always happening. Oftentimes most people do not know, they just see trucks and the projects begin. If you pay close attention, you will notice that the places that get sand filled first are those that are close to population centers and areas with high demand. Eco-Atlantic is perhaps the most popular example of sand filling and land reclamation. This development was meant to be future or real estate in not just Nigeria, but to serve as a blueprint for other countries on the continent. But that has not been the case so far. Makoko seems to be on course to be the next beneficiary or victim of Lagos's love for sandfilling. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video if you're enjoying the content so far. It means a lot and supports the work I do out here. Thank you as you do so. I've seen lots of videos and pictures of Makoko before visiting, and I always imagined the area to be deep. But then when I went, I realized that most of Makoko wasn't very deep. It was 2-3 feet, and the closer you got to the bridge, the deeper it got. But still, most adults, if you're around 6 feet, you'll be fine for the most part throughout most of the community. Coastal erosion is a fact of life in Lagos. Most of the city, especially around the coast, is at mean sea level, which makes Lagos especially susceptible to flooding and, by extension, climate change. The city of Lagos, or the state, is fighting the ocean. Fortunately or unfortunately, the ocean is winning. Floods occur yearly in many population centers, and there really isn't much that could be done about it. That's the thing about land reclamation. Sooner or later, the ocean is going to return. Who knows? Makoko might be the exception. I first noticed sandfilling in and around Makoko while traveling across the Third Mainland Bridge towards the island. I did some research, and then I found out that Lagos state government had recently given the community another demolition order. I know how demolition orders work in this part of the world or in our country. They give it, and then one day they appear like thieves in the night and destroy everything. I decided to go and spend 3 days in the community to investigate the new development and learn more about life in Makoko before it ceases to exist. Environmentalists have taken the state to court and tried to stop project progress on the basis that this might not be the best thing for the environment. I know that the 2023 Lagos governorship candidate, Gbadebo Roadvival, is one of the more vocal people against the project on the basis of its impact on the environment. Many believe that Makoko is being turned into a luxury development similar to Eco-Atlantic, a sort of Eco-Atlantic on the mainland. And when you look at the costs of real estate in and around Yaba, it's not hard to figure out why this might be the case. The whole conversation about Makoko becoming the new Eco-Atlantic drove me to go to Eco-Atlantic and investigate the progress over time. Eco-Atlantic has been a reality for years, but has it been a success? A similar development was made in Abuja at the same time, and I believe it's Centenary City. I might be incorrect. And both Centenary City and Eco-Atlantic have been failures in a sense. The settlement is over 95% empty more than a decade after, but pricing seems to be the major bottleneck. Timing also. The project was kickstarted right before a major downturn in the Nigerian economy, and the economy has never really recovered. This begs the question, why build a new Eco-Atlantic, quote unquote, when the current one hasn't met expectation? Nobody knows what they are trying to do here because information is sparse on the project. I spoke to people in Makoko, they were like, most of them do not know. The government sent a letter of demolition, but that's as much as no. Consider supporting my work by joining the channel as a member or gifting super thanks thanks super chat. If that's a bit too much, simply subscribe and like. Thank you as do so. Although the public knows very little about the sandfilling project, I feel like whatever they are trying to do, they are obviously against pros and cons. The pros are well laid out in the video so far: building more land or developing more land where the demand is high in and around Yaba, considering the university and tech field. But what are some of the cons, the downsides or potential downsides? Sandfilling, as we all know, doesn't come without it environmental risk. Since 2023, there has been increased flood risk on the mainland, and 2024 was one of the years where areas that aren't known for flooding regularly flooded. One of those areas being Bagada. Bagada flooded in 2024 more than almost any other year in recorded history. Wildlife disruptions and habitat drop. People that live in Lagos know that there are certain areas where their destiny essentially is intertwined with fishing. Building such projects can lead to wildlife disruption and habitat loss for animals, and then the increased demand and pressures on the surroundings. Imagine building high-rise area will lead to more pressure on sparse and scarce resources that may lead to issues down the line. But all this can definitely be fixed if the government has the political will. But does the political will exist? I guess time will tell. During my research, I saw lots of takes. I have seen my fair share of videos, I've read my fair share of articles and newspaper reports, but almost nobody is talking about the impacts, the social impact on Makoko residents. These people seem like an afterthought. Many in Lagos, especially those in government, consider Makoko to be an eyesore, a dent in Lagos's drive to become a proper mega city, and many of them would rather have the community gone. I found articles and newspaper reports as far back as the early 2000s asking Makoko residents to move out, and the latest demolition order is just another in a series of demolition and eviction notices. Unfortunately, depending on how you choose to see it, the new project might spell the end for Makoko finally, and this might be the beginning of the end for this infamous community. After spending time with these people, I don't know how to feel anymore. As the video draws to an end, most of the questions I set to answer remain unanswered. Why is Makoko being sandfilled, and why now? Is it perhaps an extension to Unilag? As you might know, Unilag is one of the smallest campuses of any federal universities in the country. Is it new land to fulfill the Yaba housing demand? In classic Nigerian style, is it a new road or new diversion? Nobody knows for sure, and as always, time will tell. One of my biggest hopes for this project is whatever it ends up being, it ends up becoming a net positive to Lagosians. But I can't help but question whether this project would actually end up being a net positive considering the secrecy. Will Makoko follow the way of areas like Morocco and Lekki that went from essentially slums to now eyebrow areas? Click the video on screen now. I made it specially for you. Until the next video, your friend from the Ukodo YouTube channel wishes you love, peace and prosperity.